Hello, it's your girl Laya, and you already know I got soul.
So first of all, love the project. Congrats on the drop, but most importantly, congrats on it peaking at number two. I saw that on your IG. I
Yeah.
saw your reaction, and it's well deserved. So just how do you feel? Like, how's the reception been? Tell me a little bit about it.
It's been incredible. So yeah, for the first day or like the first, it was actually like less than 24 hours that happened. So just for that to be like the start of that season and this being just how this project is rolling out and how it's happening, was incredibly, I mean, unexpected, but humbling um and motivational. It really kind of just for me was like confirmation that, I'm doing the right thing and that, people fuck with my sound and they like it. And um yeah, and they were waiting for it. So that's really what that told me. It peaked at number two, like within, it's just some hours of it being out. So that just really told me that, people, like as soon as they saw I dropped something, like they were checking it out. So that's I feel really blessed. I feel really cool.
Like a lot of artists I talk to, when I see that they're themselves in the music, it always just speaks more to people. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
honestly feel like you're yourself. We obviously see the inspiration from Aaliyah and Missy, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. But I just think you really make it so unique in your own way, and I think that's props to you for that, and that's why people are waiting for it. But something I really want to touch on too, and it's another thing you just posted. Said you really weren't gonna spearhead much of your things anymore. You've kind of gotten to a place where you can't do it all, and I know that's got to be a little bit hard. So kind of tell me, is it hard for you? Are you ready to kind of let go of like that creative control? Talk about.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I will never relinquish my creative control. It's more so the uh certain tasks that I just no longer have the time to do anymore. Like, I mean, now like my schedule, it gets busier and busier as the weeks and months go by. So, before where I had all this time to just be in my house and just edit stuff, or I had plenty of hours to do my hair and my makeup and, play with it and do whatever. And it's like, now we need to get things done, like really, really fast. So it's really more so me trying to find other creatives and people who, can see what I've already done on my own to kind of have a feel for, my flavor and all that. And, kind of step in and help me elevate that and help me execute that on bigger levels because it's always going to be my vision. It's always going to be, whatever's in alignment with what I want creatively. But if I can incorporate other really talented people that are pros at what they do. Like, I mean, I was one of these like jack of all trades, and I really just did everything out of necessity, not because I want to be a makeup artist, not because I want to be a stylist or any of those things. It was really just, I just needed to do it for myself because that's what I needed at the time. But I would love to bring in people who like, that's their thing. That's their passion. That is their talent. And kind of like, just uniting forces with other creatives. So that's where I'm at now. So when I say like, right, I've spearheaded through everything because I was independent for a long time until I got signed, and I was just so in this rhythm of doing everything myself. But now it's just not realistic that I'll be able to execute everything myself or in the ways that I want. Because I also want to grow.
Of course.
I want to take the styles and things that I've been doing, but elevate them, make them bigger, make them better. And for those kind of things, you need a team, you need help, like it takes a village. So, that's really where I am now. But I'll tell you right now, I would never sacrifice my creative control or my creative vision. Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm happy to hear that, and it's showing that yeah, you are leveling up, and that's good. It's not a bad thing at all. Now you need the extra hands, and who knows what
Yeah.
it can become now. You know what I'm saying? So the last time we spoke with you was for Hello. Talked to my guy Kyle, and just kind of tell me, compare this project really that sonically to that project, I see a little bit of an evolution, and you know,
Mm.
I'm just curious about where your headspace is at with it, especially because if I'm correct, this kind of it technically is the first project you're putting out through Warner, because like, I'm Hello you did by yourself, and then they kind of, you know,
Yeah, and then re-released through
yeah.
Warner. So yeah. Yes, this EP was actually I've had it in the tuck for like some time because of that, because I originally I released Hello, and it really was just this kind of like, call to the universe, like Hello, look at me, I'm fire, and me and my producers, like, we're cool, like, we're dope, like, check us out.
Mm.
And and it did just that. It got the attention, of the label, it got me a deal, all this stuff, and then we re-released it. But I always had these tracks that I had wanted to follow up Hello with. But now I kind of had this time and a few more resources to like polish it up and like make it better than it was when I originally wanted to release it.
Mm.
But anyway, but as far as the evolution, really, the first one being just a kind of, hey, look at me, bet that is much more of a statement. It's more of, well, now that I've got your attention, like, bet I have something to say,
Mm.
and I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna tell you real good. So that's that's really the energy for this. I feel like, I'm an R&B girl. I'm a singer. I love singing. Um, and I just feel like there's so many other things that I love. There's so many things that I love to sing about, like in this industry or in this genre rather. Um, it's like everybody talks about the same things, like they're either in the bedroom or they're in the club,
Yeah.
and or they, just get money and stuff. And like, mind you, I do all those things, but not like all of the time. Like, I also experience other emotions, or I have other experiences, or there's other things that I talk about with my friends or whatever. And I like to do that in music, where I want to sing, but I want to sing about what I'm talking about. And I think there's something really cool and relatable about that, because it gives people an opportunity, of people of all sorts, to relate. I'm not just talking about, oh, pussy, 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 or this, and that. And it kind of, narrows down, like, who can really, really sink their teeth into your work. And, like for records like Effed Up, for example, I mean, I don't know anyone that can't relate to that song. It's like, you got me effed up. Like, and it's so applicable to so many things. It's not just about relationships or whatever. It could be somebody at work, somebody just cut you off on the highway or whatever. But it's like, everybody can relate, and everyone feels that way. And even though I'm a R&B singing songstress diva, um, sometimes I just want to cuss somebody out, and sometimes I just feel that way, and I think it's okay. So I kind of just wanted to have a project where I could aggressively talk my shit, get a message across, while also empowering people. I feel like when people sing these lyrics, and it's not just talking shit for the sake of talking shit. It's like knowing your worth, and knowing, like, I'm not gonna let you like do me, and or whatever. So it's, yeah, that is the over, as far as like an overall theme. That is for me the difference between Hello. Hello was like, hey, look at me. This is more of a statement. Like, now that I'm here, I have a lot of fucking shit to say. So yeah, that's the difference for me.
Nice, nice. No, I love that, and I love the thought you put in behind that answer, but also just the thought in the music as well. And let's really dive into the making of the project. And something I always ask everybody is,
Hmm.
were there some artists you were listening to when making this project? Were there some albums really specific, or were you just really trying to go for your own sound and blocking out other albums?
I listened to a lot of Michael Jackson, and like a lot of the Bad album in particular. Um, One of my like favorite records of all time, even before working on this project, is Speed Demon by Michael Jackson. And for some reason, I played that record a lot when I wouldn't even say writing these songs, but when we were like finally like making all the final touches and putting it together, I was really getting into that record. Like, and it's got the, it's got the motorcycle or the, the automobile sounds and all that stuff in it. And it's just like, it's called Speed Demon. It just makes you want to like drive real fast, and it's like it bops and all that. So I listened to a lot of that record and just a lot of other Michael, and also like Rick James. I was listening to a lot of funk stuff also while I was working on this project. I make it a point in my general life to not listen to so much current music, and it's not like for to be shady or anything like that. I don't want to unintentionally or subconsciously like pick up what other people are doing. So I'll kind of go back and I listen to stuff from like 30, 40 years ago, or 50 years ago, or whatever. Like I'm listening to like throwback like vintage tunes. And also I think that also helped and influence with this project because, back then, well, first of all, I don't use autotune, and they weren't using autotune then. Also, there's a lot of live instruments that we used in this project. And, back then they were using all live musicians for everything, before everything was like digital and, you're just pressing a couple buttons and making a beat. Like just people had to play that music and it feels different. So there was a lot more of that incorporated into this project than the last one, as far as like really incorporating real musicians and having that appreciation for it. Cause I was listening to a lot of stuff like that. So in certain records, like at the end of Effed Up, it didn't originally have strings at the end. And I was like, I just told the producers, I was like, please, like, can we get some like giant cinematic, like petty ass strings, like at the end, like, oh, you got me fucked up. Like, because it just makes it feel so much bigger. So yeah, I definitely say I was listening to a bunch of that stuff, and I feel like that definitely influenced the vibe a little bit.
That's awesome. I mean, look, like I said, the project is amazing. I love your voice on it. I love the production, everything, right? And but let me say it this way. As a fan of Aaliyah and Brandy and Missy, it makes me appreciate what you're doing. And just how you're bringing it back in your own way. I love it. Actually, here's a question for you. Can you guess what my favorites are on the project? Based off of that, knowing that I love Aaliyah, knowing that I love Brandy, I love Janet too. And there's a
I
two that really like speak to me from that.
I think need to know.
Okay, that's one. There's another one.
Okay,
Look,
okay, or and then I don't know, slide. I'm
yeah,
not.
I would say my number three, but
Okay, okay,
I
so
really,
let her go.
I really love Psycho Bitch like a lot.
Really? See, I'm like I totally fucked that up.
Nah, nah, but honestly, I love every track on it. Like, I wish we could talk about each one, but it's kind of speaking of need to know. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your inspiration behind that, your mindset, production wise, everything, and why you chose it to be a single as well.
Well, so when that was just one of those songs. It just kind of it was easy for me. It just came like right out of me. It didn't take me very long to write it. Um, I think it was just like sometimes the beat just speaks to me, and it's like I just know exactly what to do with it. Like I could just hear it in my head right away. And that was just one of those records. And I mean, when I wrote it, I really, it's just one of those things where it's like, sometimes you don't really know what's going on. And it's like, I want to know what's going on. And I'm not even trying to judge you. I'm not even trying to shame you, but like, just keep it a buck with me. Like, let me know, let me know what the tea is, which is how I am, or that's the way I prefer to do things anyway. I'm a very understanding person. I just just keep it real with me.
Mhm.
So I feel like that song pretty much the what I was going through at the time. It was just that I was like, I just need to know what it is. um but yeah, but the reason why I decided to go with that as the second single was that based on all the feedback from my first EP, Hello, it was like everybody's so enamored with this like 90s R&B feel. Like, oh my God, we love this 90s R. Oh, she does great 90s style R&B. And I love 90s style R&B. Like, and I know and I have fun doing it, or kind of like pulling from that energy. But I don't want to be tied just to that. And I knew that this EP, most of it, doesn't really give that. It really is broader in a sense. It's still rooted in R&B. I'm always going to give that energy. It's always going to be rooted in R&B and soul and be soulful in that way. But I wanted to kind of go a bit left. And so I used Need to Know as the second single to kind of, that was like the only record I felt like gave that 90s like kind of feel. And I was like, just so you guys know, I didn't forget about you. Here's Need to Know. Like, and then everything else that comes after this, don't ask me what happened. Like, it's just like, I just felt like that would be something for them, because I love and appreciate my fans, and I don't want to go so completely left that they feel like I've abandoned them, or, oh, this is not what I wanted, it's not what I ordered, or whatever. So it's kind of like, here, take this record. Because for me, picking the songs for this EP was really based on theme. So it's just an energy. If it's like I have something to say, I'm talking my shit, or whatever, getting something off my chest, that was the overall theme. So if the songs didn't have to do with that, I have other songs, but if it didn't have to do with that, like, to me, it didn't go with this project. So although they all sound different, they all have the same rooted theme. So that's like the 90s style, like R&B record for this theme of stuff that I made.
Nah, I mean, absolutely. I see even through all the other songs, you still have the root of R&B. And let's take away the decade. It's just you have the root of R&B in all the songs. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
As a fan, I appreciate it. But
Thank you.
let's talk about the title track, Bet That, and why you decided to call it. Oh no, you told me why you would decide to call the EP that, but let's really talk about Bet That in general, the single, the song.
Yeah, so um this was so if anyone isn't familiar already, Aura, they're a duo, they produce all my stuff. Dante Carter and Chad Paul. And they had made the beat and sent it to me. Or what were, if you were to hear it now, it's more like the skeleton and bones of the beat. It wasn't like what it is now. But they sent me this beat, and I believe it was Chad that said to me, and he was just like, I want you to like go nuts. He's like, just take this and like basically like show him who's boss. Like I like on some, like, he didn't know. He's like, I don't know what you're gonna do with it, but like whatever you're gonna do with it, go crazy. Like, go crazy with it. And this was during a time where this was still before, and when I originally wrote it, this was still before I was signed. This was still before like anything really started like, clicking for me. And so I was still in this place of like trying to prove myself and getting my name out there. And at the same time, while I'm trying to get my name out there, you know, seeing things like other bigger acts, like being inspired by things I've done. And then like before I can make it my own, it's like someone else is doing it. And I'm like, ah, fuck, like, and just like, somebody please, like, look at me. Like I swear, like I'm doing my own shit, I'm making my own shit. So it's just like this very angsty, like, like, I don't know, like I just, just this kind of like girl rage, I don't know, that I had. And yeah, I just kind of put that all out onto that record. So, I'm singing, it's kind of sing rappy, but it was more so like I just do whatever I feel like the record tells me it needs. And yeah, I don't know. I just kind of let it go. And we had the track for a while. And then there was one day, I think this is while I was on tour, and we were playing the record, and we were in the car, and like a fire truck and like a bunch of cops like went speeding by, and it was like all these sirens and shit, like, as it was going by. And as it went by, we all looked at each other like, because the song was playing and that shit started going, and we all looked at each other like, yo, that was hot. Like that was fucking hot. Like that's it. And then the story, like everything, like in that moment, it felt like I could see the whole project, like as a whole. Um, yeah, so it just really, I don't know, it was just born out of just like pure like, I got something to say. I'm gonna prove myself, and y'all gonna know today. And it was a bunch of that energy, and yeah, it just over time it just built and progressed, and then we got a guitarist to shred the shit out of the ending of it. Like, oh my god, like because again, I listening to like Michael Jackson and like all these things, and where they bringing in these guitars, and it's like, oh, it's just nuts. So it was my opportunity to like just have all of that fun. And I love creating like theater of the mind, like when you listen to music and you listen to audio, and how you can paint a picture for somebody in their head just with sounds. And so I felt like that whole opening was like the opening to like my little indie film. Yeah.
That's awesome. Shout out to the production on that song for sure. And
Yeah, they did the thing.
I killed it. And just to go back, I've mentioned this a few times already, but I do appreciate how much thought you put into it and how much you care. And just some artists might just not care that the fire truck passed them at the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
You might not want to draw that into that. So I appreciate that. And I see from your inspirations that we've talked about how they definitely have done stuff like that, whether we're talking about Missy or Michael, and so I think that speaks through your music. And another standout that I've been seeing on IG a lot is Left Right Go. So when I see
Mm.
that song, that is the production wise, at least, is Tyler that created to me for sure. Like I get that vibe. So just
I love
talk about that
that.
song.
Yeah, that was I would say that was another one that just like it kind of just flew right out of me. It was like, I mean, the beat, it had these, this whistle, these kind of like, stepping drums, these drumline drums, and it was just giving that. So like right away, I just heard it in my head, like, okay, left, left, right, left, or whatever. And I was it was still around the same time that I wrote Bet That, and I still was trying to prove myself, but I wrote it in a perspective of like my inner self or my higher self kind of like motivating me and being like, you know, you put the work in, but what you working for, you deserve it. And I had been taking blows. It was like I felt like every time I turned around, I was being knocked down, or something was being, like taken from me or whatever, and all this stuff. But then, at the same time being like, like, okay, all right, so what, they knocked you down, like, okay, so what, they took this and that from you, like, boo-hoo, like, get off your ass and like, do it, keep going, put just put one foot in front of the other, like, and just keep it moving, because that's the T, like, that's always just the T, like, it doesn't matter, you're gonna fail sometimes, but you will not fail overall if you keep going. You know what I mean? You're gonna fall sometimes, but it's fine. But as long as you get back up and you keep going. So yeah, this record really was just all of that energy, and knowing and claiming what you deserve, and knowing that you deserve everything that you want and that you're working for, as long as you're working for it, So and again, I like to motivate people with my lyrics and with my music. I feel like there's too much sad shit out there and self-loathing stuff, or things that are just destructive to people and to like who they really are. And granted, I love me some ratchet tunes and some wild shit too, but I think there's a time and a place. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like to twerk and all that, but I just don't do it everywhere, like, but I think, yeah, I just think there's a time and a place, and I want to be one of those people to provide those other moments and those other pieces of work that people can pull that strength from. Like, what, you're right, I do deserve it. And this gets me gas. I remember the first time I played the complete version for my best friend, she started crying because it was just and because she felt it. It's something that touches people. Like, when it's just the truth, they're just true words. but it's something about that. So even when that happened, because this was long before it was released, it was like, okay, like that told me, it was like, all right, like this one's good. Like, okay, like we like this is gonna do something for people,
Mm.
more than just being just a song. Like this is gonna do something for people. And I like that.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I only got a few more questions for you so you can get out of here, but this is a personal one. I grew up in Staten Island. I'm from Bayonne, New Jersey right now.
Oh
So
wow.
that's Staten Island. Do
Shout
you
out.
feel like it's influenced your sound at all, just being around that and, just going up there? And it's a unique place. So
Yeah, I definitely do. I mean, it's still New York. I feel like the rest of New York loves shitting on us all the time and, playing with us, but it's still part of New York City. It's still very much so that. So I'm, but it is like essentially like the forgotten borough or whatever, or the underdog essentially. So there's definitely like that energy, and I think that's carried a theme that has carried kind of through my coming up in a lot of ways, where it's like I'm the underdog and it's like I'm good. I'm telling you I'm good. Like, like always having to prove myself, and growing up from a city or a part of the city that you constantly gotta prove yourself, and then, oh, Staten Island. And it's like, shut up. And then you gotta boss up and like, yo, watch your mouth and blah blah blah. Like it's this whole energy of just like being just strong and like having to know who you are, and survival and all that, you know,
yeah,
craziness. But it definitely has influenced me and just my life. I mean, it's where I'm from. And I was just laughing with my friend earlier today, actually. It's just like it's hard to really relocate and live anywhere else. It's something about New York. It's just, I don't know. I'm a Gotham City girl, so I don't know. It's gonna be hard to get me out. But yeah, yeah, it's Staten Island has definitely influenced my spice and charisma for sure. And my love for Italian food, because them Italians is out here, and I love me some Italian food.
that's cool. I'm Italian and Puerto Rican, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know?
So just two more questions for you. Rest of the year, any goals, anything special coming? Just let us know.
Um, well, I there will be a lot more visuals coming for these songs. So I would like to say that will be the gift that will keep on giving, as far as like cool visual content and just fun things like that to look forward to. Um, I have like some shows that are like starting to like form. I can't necessarily say anything yet, but definitely I would say to anyone out there to stay tuned for upcoming shows, because there will be. I'm hoping to do some touring, like some actual touring. So I know my team is kind of working on some of those things now. So but yeah, I'm just excited to um continue to like create for this body of work and push those things out, and then get on stage and perform all this live. That's what I'm really excited about, and that's what yeah, that's why I would tell people to look forward to, really, is for, me out in these streets.
Well, I'm gonna be at the show. Believe that when you're up in New York,
Period.
I'll be there. And my last question for you really is what your favorite song on this project is personally.
Uh,
I know it's a hard one, but I always love it.
it is. And everybody asks me the same thing, and I feel like I have a different answer like every time, because I feel like it depends on my mood. Because yes, I love them all. They're all my children. They're all my favorite, depending on what day it is. But let's see. Today my favorite is Slide. I
Mm.
don't know. Slide is just, and Slide is always like in my top two, three, but today is Slide. I think it's just smooth, and it's just like you
Catchy.
yeah, you know what someone said on Twitter? They were like, you make being mad sound so smooth, like, or something like and that's how Slide makes me feel. Like it's like I listen to Slide, like, and I'm one of those artists, like I don't like to just listen to my shit like all day, like just be in my headphones or be in a car just listening to my shit like that. But Slide I will listen to. I really, really like it. Like it just gets me moving, and it's like, if it ain't nothing, you should get on slide. Like, I don't know, that one gets me in my bag. But yeah, so I'll say slide.
Awesome. Laya, I love the project. I love your vibe. I really appreciate you talking with us. And a lot of artists I've spoken to have always brought you up and just said how cool you are. Like Reggie, I've spoken to him. Reggie back then, Fabo, a lot of these artists. So you got this vibe that you mad unique, and I don't know. I just appreciate it as a fan, and I know that's why people appreciate it as well. And yeah, I think that even artists like Jalen Josie is another one who I love because they have
I
this
love her.
amazing, great person, and again, she puts so much effort into her music, and
Mhm.
see that with you. That's why I'm a fan. That's why we had to bring you
Found
on.
out her and I we're only children. So I was like,
Got
I
that.
was like, that's why I hung with you. Yeah, maybe that's why we're like quirky, but like, right, very focused because like we didn't have anything else to do.
Whatever it is, I'm cool with it because we get good
Yeah,
music. So
no, but thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
yeah, just good luck with everything. I'll be at the show, and I'm looking forward to more stuff, more visuals, more music, and yeah, I appreciate your time.
So thank you. Thank you so much. Until next time.